for the last time. In a maroon jersey.
I guess he'll play ducks and drakes on that one, and the main thing on his mind will be to perform at his optimum for Queensland tonight. No little doubt he will. He played sensibly in the first match. He won man of the match. He can't do much better. Some people felt that perhaps it was deserved by somebody else. The bottom line is he did get it in Sydney. Okay, bit of criticism. There's Martin Bella, who's played superbly. Bit of criticism about the way Lewis carried on, but gee, he did the job again. And Alan Langer, who June spoke about before, his defensive work has been superb in the first two matches. Perhaps not quite the attack we're used to from him, but those games haven't suited. And Mike McLean, a man who improved from that first match. And perhaps will there be a late kick at goal like the last two matches?
Mike O'Connor just passed a screen with Steve Roach. And here's the Lang Park reception for Ben Elias and his team. Chris Johns finally playing in a winning team in Sydney. Rod Wishart, will his hamstring stand up to 80 minutes? David Gillespie will tackle all night. Will Michael O'Connor have a chance to kick himself into history again in a deciding match, as he did at the stadium? And how bad is the virus to that man on screen, Steve Roach? Greg Alexander's back at fullback. He was damaging in the first half of the first game, but he's been carrying an injury. Brad Mackay in at lock forward. And Steve Jackson will have his task in trying to contain the back row, as Mark McGaw will have in trying to contain Mel Meninga, a job he's done so successfully in the last few years.
There is big Malcolm, and speaking to him today, he sees himself having 3 or 4 years yet in the game at least, which is great news for rugby league fans. I know that Michael O'Connor will. Michael O'Connor now about 31 years of age. John Cartwright with a long future in front of him. Played reasonably well on the Kangaroo Tour, lost a bit of form at the end, but did admit prior to today's game that he didn't think he'd be playing State of Origin this year because of injuries, but he's there back, helped set up the try that won them the match in Sydney. Greg Alexander at fullback.
And if there isn't some nervous-looking faces than what we just saw Andrew Slacko walk to Burke, half those fellows, their lips were quivering.
Well, I reckon some of the people at home in the lounge chairs would be nervous, and that's not surprising. The players now can't wait for the kick-off to get into it. The nerves will go, and then it'll be who can maintain their skills and maintain their composure.
Ben Elias flexing the old neck muscles. Bill Harrigan, a nervous twitch of the strides, and a glance over Lang Park, something now that Bill Harrigan respects. And what about respect the Queenslanders have for that man, Graham Lowe, as the State of Origin decider is underway. Langer's first touch of the ball for Meninga. In they go, and the big fellow goes to ground 15 out from the line. Stephen Walters over to Andrew G. Mark McGaw's the tackle. Bella bounces away from McGaw and gets over to the quarter line. They're looking for the kick on the early tackles, Queensland. Jackson, very borderline pass. Peter Jackson kicking across field to Johns. Queensland have to give him 10, and it's not a good kick because the Queenslanders had to go backwards, and Johns takes it within 10 of the 22-metre line. O'Connor takes the first tackle, driven back by McLean. Stephen Walters gives him a pat on the back for the drive. Now Gillespie. And he's gone back in the tackle. They've made no ground in 2. Now Stewart to give it to Clyde. And he's 8 short of the 22-metre line. Now Elias. Stewart They throw it long with Fittler with the grubber kick. Here's O'Connor on the fly with Johns. Johns is there, and Chris Johns is in to score. Bill Harrigan will award the try. The kick from Fittler. The race was from O'Connor and Johns has beaten his Bronco teammate into the corner to score. New South Wales lead by 4 points to 0.
And obviously the right option there from Fittler. He saw the gap. He knew that the Queensland winger would have to turn and run. Michael Hancock out there on the left wing. He's got to turn. Michael O'Connor's got the pace on him, as has Chris Johns, who comes outside Hancock. That's great positional play by Chris Johns.
Well, Gene Miles, in the first couple of minutes of the game.
Yes, I don't think the outside backs of Queensland really expected New South Wales to kick so early in the tackle count. Mick Hancock was up awfully flat. It didn't take much pace for Chris Johns to get in behind him and score an easy try.
Yes, a courageous decision by Fittler. His man is obviously not going to be bound by what could be termed conservative play. He saw the option was on, he took it, and it's come up with 4 points as a reward.
And that try led from the bad kick downfield. Peter Jackson put a shocker across field, which had Queensland going backwards instead of forwards. Mick O'Connor. No goal. New South Wales lead 4 points to 0. There's only 3 minutes gone. So Queensland regroup at the halfway mark with Fittler, a nice confident starter for the 19-year-old from Penrith. Eyeball to eyeball tonight with Wally Lewis, and the kid started off on a great bat.
And a great start too for Chris Johns, who you'll remember scored the first try at the Sydney Football Stadium.
Bradley Mackay runs into Andrew G, but he's almost run it to the 22. Wishart goes to dummy half. He's tackled by Jackson. That's Steve Jackson. Now to Roach. He's 9 metres outside his own quarter line. Elias calling for him quickly to play the ball now to Cartwright. The right hand of Cartwright always trying to get free, carrying the football. The kick's on from Stewart. Hoff's first touch. And he's through. He's away. Here comes Stewart and cover. And gets him. But a great run from Paul Hoff. There was some school of thought that Gary Belcher might be picked for this game, but the selectors have stuck with Hoff. And that's why Larson 9 metres inside New South Wales territory. The Blues lead 4 points to 0. Stephen Walters straight through, he gets to Alexander. Alexander guns him to the ground about 13 metres out from the line. Langer goes to dummy half. It's blindside with Lewis in the wrap for Langer. And he's 10 metres outside the try line. Great run from Hoff. Great backup play from Walters. Larson away now to Jackson. Flips it inside. McLean wasn't expecting the pass, and they've come up with a knock-on.
This is the time they've got to compose themselves. That was nothing short of a panic pass. It was unnecessary, and it's given New South Wales a chance to put in and get out of that danger territory after some great play from Queensland.
So Stewart against the feed, but Harrigan rules. Scrum the pack down again, and as expected, the Lane Park crowd showed their disapproval. So New South Wales come up with possession, only about 12 metres out from their own line. The game has opened up in the first 5 minutes. Alexander. Stewart's down and back play. Now to Clyde. Elias trying to milk a penalty for Gillespie. Underneath is Walters. Over the top was Steve Jackson. New South Wales ruck it. 10 metres short of the halfway is where the big blocker plays it. Stewart's boots call for. He kicks away from Hoff to Hancock. But it's actually coming back Hoff's way, but Hancock takes it. Thought about the pass to Hoff. And the penalty is given to Queensland. Not given 10 metres after he picked the ball up.
Michael O'Connor obviously very anxious to atone for his earlier miss on Paul Hoff. Paul Hoff got through Michael O'Connor. He wanted to make sure then in doing so was offside. Penalty to Queensland.
Telecast Telecast is proudly sponsored by the bank that keeps banking your way, Metway Bank.
So Queensland in New South Wales territory. Martin Bella. He's about 12 out from the quarterway. On a dry turf here at Lang Park. Jackson goes the short side. He's just outside the quarter. The ball skills from both teams be shown here tonight. Now to McLean. He's wrapped up very heavily in the tackle. David Gillespie was the man in question. Now to Langer. The cutout pass to Lewis. Meninga. Hoffs into the hole. He'll go for the line. He's got Alexander's measure. He's in. Oh, Paul Hoff, that's great stuff. Alexander was left grabbing at oxygen. Paul Hoff's beaten them. And this is a great game of football. 4-all the score, and there's only 8 minutes gone.
Well, you said it, Alan. He's got Alexander's measure. I don't think Alexander got a fingernail on the tall and long striding Bronco fullback. What an outstanding last few weeks Paul Hoff has had after an injury-ridden first part of the season. Just a fairly normal backline move, and Bella going in front of the pass. Mel Meninga puts Hoff through that gap as McGaw tries to collar Meninga, and inside Greg Alexander. Well, perhaps he did get the fingernail on him. Gene Miles, great try to Paul Hoff.
Yeah, it certainly was, Andrew. You know, I think the build-up to that try was the winner there. But they had a very good set of 6, and they weren't afraid to throw it out wide. And, of course, Mel putting Big Hoffy into the gap, and Hoffy with his 8-foot sidestep left Greg Alexander standing.
Well, that's the comeback Queensland needed. With John scoring in about the 3rd minute, Queensland hitting back 4-all, and Meninga with a chance to put the Maroons in front in the State of Origin decider. This game's had the build-up to be a crackerjack. 9 minutes gone, Andrew Slack, and it hasn't let anyone down.
I don't imagine it will either. It's we said earlier before the match kicked off, these 26 players out here at the moment are just full of skill. That's what they'll be concerned with as Mel Meninga tries to convert Hoff's try to give Queensland a 2-point lead.
He's missed it. It's not even close. 4-all the score. Take a break and be back in a moment.
In a world filled with numbers, it's easy to forget what they mean. Like the interest rate on a term deposit, it actually means money. So if your bank isn't showing enough interest, the only number you should consider is the number of alternatives. Until the old banking system realizes that, there will be no other bank like Metway Bank.
So this is the first ruck after the break. 4-all the score. Queensland just outside their own 22-metre line. Meninga takes it up like a second rower, and he gets to that 10-metre line. Walters trying to skirt from dummy half. Oh, he's got a dodgy pass back to G to Jackson. And Peter Jackson's 10 short of the halfway. Bella over the advantage line he goes. Straight into Bradley Clyde. The Canberra back rower puts him to ground. Lewis calls, plenty of time. O'Connor's got it just inside the chalk. In goes Meninga hard and puts the centre three-quarter to ground, and he's hurt him. Meninga's gone in hard. He's winded Michael O'Connor. Now to McGaw. So New South Wales are just outside their own quarterway for Cartwright. Queensland defence swarm upon him. O'Connor getting to his feet slowly and back play. Now for Roach. 10 outside their own 22. Larson did chase Ricky Stewart. Now Khan will take on Wishart. Changes his mind. Came in field. Well, I don't know whether it was 10 metres there or not. If it was shallow, and here's Hoff. He's had 2 touches of the ball. He made 50 metres on one and 35 on the other to touch it down. McLean. Mike McLean over the halfway mark. 11 minutes gone. 4-all the score. Stephen Walters. Long pass to Khan, who can't get into space. New South Wales defence regroups. Lewis, dummies. Now they're on the final tackle. They better find a kicker. They haven't got one. Langer now finds spot. Wishart on the bounce. test the hamstring out. Alan Langer stood in front of him, and Wishart went over the top of him like a steamroller. Clyde, 12 out from the 22. Now the game's about territory. It's about position. Gillespie. Elias from dummy half. Overboard's got high by G. Harrigan's pinged him.
Well, I'll be interested to see if he really did collect McGaw then, or whether or not there's a little bit of Academy Award stuff. Andrew G, the man in camera. Here we go, and there's G coming in. He certainly got him high. More a slap, I think, although Mark McGaw still down at this stage. The Queensland team already retreated, so the penalty will go the Blues' way, and I would suggest that Michael O'Connor will try to take the shot at goal. McGaw's still down. I don't think there was a lot of malice in that tackle from G. But he seems to have done a fair job on McGaw. McGaw now getting up. O'Connor obviously recovered from the knock he got early, and here it is now. Your guy coming in. I guess there was a little touch of forearm there, perhaps. So maybe there wasn't as much acting as perhaps I first thought.
Well, there's the legacy of O'Connor's first 20 or 13 minutes of the game. He's a pretty tough customer, Mark McGaw.
Yeah, they're all pretty tough customers.
Well, can O'Connor get the distance, Andrew Slack?
Well,
he's almost on the halfway.
Yes, it's the short answer.
Will he kick it? You've had the easy question, now cop the hard one.
No, I'll back it to go to the left. How's that?
Kicks the ball right to left. Long way out. Won't have the legs. Meninga waits, and off he goes. Through one. Chris Johns has got hold of him with Bradley Clyde. Here's McLean, short of the 22-metre mark. Jackson. So Queensland keep their big forwards rolling. Here's Larson.
The Queenslanders look very anxious for the quick play of the ball. As soon as they're tackled, they're wrestling, kicking their legs out to try and get up and play the ball. A good sign.
Lewis gets the kick in at the same time Cartwright went for him. Wishart. G waits for him. Langer got there first and G helped. Here goes Clyde into Larson. So the pace just starting to steady just a fraction. Chris Johns about 8 short of the halfway. As per usual, the game starting off at a furious pace. Stewart, that's a great kick. How will it bounce? Hancock wants it. Now, are they back 10? Well, I know, well, Stewart's the kicker, so he's entitled to be there, and he is. And that's great work from Ricky Stewart. He didn't have to be the 10. He kicked and he chased and got his man. And Queensland are 12 out from their own line with the scoreline at 4-all. Now for Bella. Larson is at the quarter one. And getting slowly to his feet. Peter Jackson. Queensland going nowhere in this set. Now the kick will have to be on. How's the chase from Queensland? Lewis has got all day, and he's got plenty of room. There's no one at home over there. Alexander hurries, picks it up just inside the line. Can he beat Langer? No, he can't. Oh, McLean coming in a bit late. Lucky to get away with it. Here's Wishart. And the strong Illawarra winger takes it with an 8 of the halfway. Elias quickly to dummy half for Roach.
Larson, McLean and Jackson doing a lot of tackling at this stage.
Elias from dummy half. Stephen Walters has got hold of him and Jackson finishes him off. Now for Stewart. Bradley Clyde was almost with Mick Hancock. Now here's Hop. Can't beat the tackle of Clyde, so Queensland being hemmed in their own quarter. This is good positional play by New South Wales. Now Mick Hancock.
You often hear people talking of the advantage of a kicking game, and although Stewart hasn't found touch all that much or at all, in fact, it is this continuous pressure by keeping Queensland pinned.
Martin Bella, big Martin Bella, a great run from the front row, 110 kilos of power, and now Stephen Walters. He takes it 10 metres inside New South Wales territory. Now it goes through Lewis and Langer, a long pass to Meninga. What can he do? He's held in the tackle, back to Hoff, and he'll be tackled by Clyde on the final tackle. Short side. Jackson across field for Wishart, and Khan will be one-on-one.
That was a poor kick again from Jackson. All it did was put Willie Kahn in an unenviable position. Thankfully for Queensland, he was able to effect the tackle, but there's just no future in kicking to the open side in situations like that.
Fittler's taken a real risky pass to O'Connor, but O'Connor's almost down the touchline. Meninga's got him again and barrels him, but not into touch. Stayed in the field of play by a whisker. Johns, oops. Jackson went around the shoulders. Elias now for Stewart, now for Cartwright. Can't get the hands free, but he can shrug them away by the same token. 18 minutes gone first half, 4-all the score. Roach 10 metres inside Queensland territory on the final tackle. Stewart, they decide to spin it. Alexander tries to create the extra man. O'Connor touched. Hoff tidies up. So Queensland 12 out from their own line. Lewis to Khan. Possession the key inside your own quarter and safety first. Somehow Lewis flicked that out the back, but Queensland are going nowhere. It's good pressure stuff from the Blues. Now McLean. They're still inside their own quarter. Bella gets them out of there. Great run, Martin Bella. He's 12 out from his own quarter, and the Lane Park crowd applaud. Lewis is caught on the final tackle. He's knocked it on, and that's great chasing. Brad Fiddler and Michael O'Connor and Ricky Stewart with the chasers, and now Queensland's defence will have to regroup. New South Wales only about 13 out from the line. 4-all the score. Now through Stewart, Brad Fittler, over it goes to Alexander. McGaw comes in field, he's smothered by Lusk. And it's gone backwards. Well, was that flicked out? Looked to be flicked out by me, but Harrigan's rule play on, and Queensland a bit lucky to get away with that. So right on their own 22. Meninga runs at 5 metres outside the quarter. Territorially, it's been all New South Wales.
Lewis and Meninga taking the two last passes off the ruck to take a bit of pressure off the forwards who've had to been working hard to get out of that 22-metre zone.
Michael McLean, 10 short of the halfway. And on the final tackle, the kick will have to be on for a bit of breathing space. Langer will have to hurry. Actually, he's done it pretty well into space. Can he tow through? Stewart kicks it ahead. It's picked up, and you can shut the gate. Nicky Hancock's in. Nicky Hancock's in off a New South Wales blunder. It had been all New South Wales pressure. They make a meal of it centre field. Mick Hancock thinks that Santa Claus time he's over. Queensland lead 8-4 against the run of play.
Well, the critics have praised long and loud the kicking ability of Ricky Stewart, and anyone who's a Queensland supporter tonight will only add their cheerio to that, because that's a Ricky Stewart kick after obviously the Alf Langer chip. There were no options. Michael Hancock in support, and over ahead of the tackle of Greg Alexander. That was Langer, pure magic from the Little Broncos halfback. There it is. There wasn't any other option. He took the best one. He got help from his opposite number.
Well, G. Miles, a bit of help from the Blues.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I think, we've got to put that one down to Alfie. He faked the big downtown kick and then just kicked it into the open space, and it was great to see Mick make up for that early mistake that was scored by New South Wales.
Gene, in seeing that the try has been scored, it's obviously a poor option from Ricky Stewart, but really he had nothing to win by doing that. He should have dived on the ball, wouldn't you agree?
Yes, he should have, but it's fine saying that after it's happened. But you know, I suppose that Queensland did maintain that pressure, and it was good to see him get those rolling rucks going, and of course the kick from Elf led to the try.
Mal Meninga, none out of one. He's just outside the 22, and he's about 9 metres in from touch. Well, that try just against the run of play. New South Wales had done everything right. Their kicking and chasing game was good. They had Queensland pinned in their own territory, and just when they looked like they're going to pin them again, against the run of play comes forward. Needs a confidence booster with his kicking, Meninga. He needs to slot this. No goal. That's none from 2. Queensland lead 8 points to 4. 18 minutes to half-time.
This telecast is proudly sponsored by Castlemaine Perkins, makers of 4X.
So back to the halfway for the restart.
For New South Wales, Johns has gone to the centres and McGaw's on the wing.
So a shuffle up in the back line. Langer gives it to Khan. And Willie Khan is about 5 short of the 22-metre line. Steve Jackson. He's out of the danger zone. Who's the next forward to hit it up? Larson.
You notice in defence, Greg Alexander playing in the line and Mick O'Connor back at fullback for New South Wales.
So quick hands, the name of the game. And Wishart was home for your T-money. He just couldn't handle it. Queensland were almost away, and Wishart almost returning the compliment against the run of play.
There was that concern over Rod Wishart's hamstring prior to this match. The way he's run the ball, and this particular effort shows there's no problems with it. There's the pass from Andrew G. It could well have been a Queensland try if Wishart hadn't have tried to intercept.
So this game, like all State of Origin games, has got it all. We've seen it all. We've only got 16 minutes to the break and another 40 to come. 8-4 the lead for Queensland. Oh, nice tackle from Brad Fittler. He went low on Martin Bella. Now Langer to Meninga. Tackled by Cartwright. 9 short of the halfway. Lewis to dummy half. Dummies. Now Hoff. So on the final tackle. Langer. Does he faint this time? No. It's running on end. So McGaw has a chance to run it out. Peter Jackson going high with the one arm. Clyde driven back by Larson. Wishart goes to dummy half, trying to take a bit of pressure off the forwards. They're very much bunched up in the centre of the ground, the Blues at the moment. So now Elias gives it to Roach. Pass back to Fittler. Oh, that looked almost forward to O'Connor. And 8 metres short of the halfway on the final tackle now. Here's Stewart. And Hoff has got a line of about 6 blue jerseys waiting for him. And they do the job. Brad Mackay over the top and underneath Bradley Clyde. Now for Khan. Brad Mackay again the tackle. Hancock. Striving to get out of tackle. Back to Walters. One-handed stuff outside their own 22, and Larson is the one that takes the punishment. Jackson. 10 out from the quarter. There's Lewis. Now, I don't think... Oh, he's knocked it on, Wishart. Unbelievable. Queensland weren't back 10 either. If Wishart had picked it up and run at the Queensland defence, I reckon he would have got the penalty, and he's muffed it.
He saw Mike McLean. I'm sure he felt there was a gap outside McLean. He was looking at the gap and knocked the ball.
Salvatore on for Roach.
Craig Salvatore, the Eastern Suburbs front rower. Steve Roach, who's been ill all week, on medication to get to the starting post in this game, leaves the field. Craig Salvatore wears jersey 16. So Langer to Lewis. Meninga, is there any wrap around? Khan, big, strong fellow. So Queensland have possession. Now to Andrew G. And he's only 8 metres outside the 22. Now for Walters and Langer. Dummies. Can't beat Gillespie, but somehow he's got it back, and now it's with Jackson. They need to tidy it up. Bella will run it straight, and he'll run it hard, and he'll run it almost to the quarterway.
Been just about the most effective player on the field so far, Martin Bella.
Michael McLean's inside the 22. Queensland with a big chance. Lewis called for the football. He was the dummy. Now Jackson, that's Peter. Back to Lewis, back to Langer. Walters and quick hands. What's happened here? 6 to go. That's what's happened. New South Wales have touched it. Kick through. Jackson. Queensland need to settle it down. He's 10 out from the line. They've got 5 to go. New South Wales defence is tested. Now Lewis turns it back inside to Hoff. They haven't got their attack right. They have to regroup. There's no semblance of order. Blindside, Bella head down. He's 5 metres out from the try line. Lewis's first pivot. McLean takes it. Now Langer, dummies, and takes the tackle. There's 2 left, I reckon, in this set of 6. Now to Jackson. Here's big Mel Meninga looming on the outside. He can't get the pass away. Final tackle. Meninga should charge the try line. There he goes. He's got it back to Lewis. Khan inside. And that'll be the changeover, and New South Wales defence stretched. But great stuff.
Outstanding stuff from Queensland, one and all. Forwards taking over that advantage line. Steve Walters, Steve Jackson, Martin Bella, a lot of them, the backs using the ball.
3 New South Wales players down. O'Connor, Alexander and Wishart all on the ground. David Gillespie, a working machine. There's 11 minutes and 50 seconds to the break. Salvatore.
Desi Hasler waiting to get on.
Now Elias for Cartwright. Hands are free. Pass has gone inside, and away goes Chris Johns. Here comes Hoff. Hoff's got him. Great tackle, Paul Hoff. Read his Broncos teammate particularly well. Now Stewart. Queensland's defence is all over the park. Alexander's 12 out from the quarter line. Play keeps going with Fittler, and he stays in the field of play on the final tackle. Queensland get back in defence. Now the long pass from Stewart to Alexander. He's calling for it out wide with O'Connor. Wishart back to O'Connor. There's gaps. Grubbers ahead, and this will be 6 to go. Harrigan rule, the ball was played at. Now Mackay. 12 out from the line. Gillespie takes the settler.
Hasler on for Cartwright.
Salvatore's been called. He's got the football. Oh, and he's well tackled. Mike McLean was underneath and cut him down. Elias wants the blind side with Stewart. He's got Fittler on his inside. He's dropped it. Unbelievable. Brad Fittler takes it. He's over the line. He's dropped it. And Queensland get out of jail. Try gone begging.
It was under the post if Fittler had taken that. John Cartwright off, as Sean explained. Cartwright responsible for the pressure on Queensland now. He took it out of the New South Wales quarter. That lovely pass to Chris Johns set all this up. And gee, Chris Johns, he's got to really be pushing for an Australian test spot. He does everything so well. He supports, he reads play well. Fine effort from Johns tonight and throughout all this Origin encounter. Now the pressure back on Queensland as Larson's driven back on the tackle.
Gary Coyne's on the field. He'll be looking to hit this up in one of these early rucks. Here's Bella. Oh, good run from Martin Bella again. And now for Coyne, the fresh man. Hasler's got him. So the 2 interchange players come together. We're on the final tackle. Hot. McGaw. In goes McLean and Langer on the halfway mark. He goes down. Under 10 minutes to the break. Hasler. Tackled by Andrew G. Wishart. Steve Jackson the tackle. So Elias, only 10 out from the 22. Here come the runners. Stewart, the dummy half. Long pass to Fittler. Now Johns, wrapped up by Hancock. Right on the 22-metre line on the final tackle. I would say the kick is now the option. Stewart has it. It's gone high. It's shallow and it's wide. Anything can happen here. Cartwright's knocked it on. Fittler's in an offside position, let it go. Lewis picks it up. And I think Bradley Clyde might have been in an offside position as well. Well, Gene Miles, Queensland lead by 8 points to 4, but they spent a lot of time in their own 22.
Yeah, very dangerous period for Queensland here. I know they're all tired, and I was very surprised to see Gary Coyne come on. I thought there'd be a great chance to introduce Bobby Linder into the game.
Well, Andrew G's just injected himself into the play to take the ball outside the quarter. Here's McLean, tackled by Gillespie. So 8 minutes to half-time. Langer, now Lewis. Meninga having a run and Khan, but there's plenty of cover for Willie Khan. He takes the tackle short of the halfway. On the final tackle, Meninga for touch. Alexander's been pretty quiet. We'll see what he does with the ball. Larson's got him lined up with Langer, so he spins it to Hasler. Pretty risky stuff. Jackson's got hold of Hasler and puts him down. I don't know about the pass from Alexander, Andrew Slack. Looked a bit risky from where he was.
Well, that's the nature of Greg Alexander's game. He takes the risks. Sometimes they come off, often they don't. But saw Alan Langer, as usual, up there in defence, and the odds of beating Langer in those situations are small. I figured he took the other one, and New South Wales have come out of it all right, although they're still struggling against a fairly committed Queensland defence. Well, more than fairly, well-committed Queensland defence.
So Clyde can't break the Queensland line. 7 minutes to go to half-time, and Queensland lead 8 points to 4. Stewart. He's trying to find Khan out of position. He can't. Brad Mackay waits for Khan. Good tackle of Brad Mackay. He's in the lock forward spot. You only got to know how good a defender he is. He's pushed Bradley Clyde into the second row, and Paul Hoff's pushed New South Wales out of the way. He's almost to the halfway.
And Graham Lowe's plan, I'd say, would be get Bob Linder on these last 4 or 5 minutes leading. It's now 6.5 minutes to half-time. Get Bob Linder on his bell up. Once again goes, what an outstanding match he's having with Steve Walters right beside him. Linder to use him as an impact player this last 4 or 5 minutes.
So now Lewis, dummies, and he's into space. He's Langer on his inside. Alexander's got to get him. The pass has gone back to Lewis. And they're 10 metres out from the line. I'd say there's a knock on. Lewis might have knocked it on in there, did he? Or Alexander knocked it out of his hands?
I think Lewis lost it, didn't knock it on. Alexander trying to retrieve it for New South Wales may well have knocked it on. Harrigan therefore ruling a scrum. So we'll see who has the pudding, which should clear that up.
Well, Langer's got the ball, so obviously he feels he's going to put it in. And Queensland with a big chance here, Andrew. Just over 5 minutes to the break. They lead 8 to 4. If they could sneak over the line here, would make it very, very difficult for New South Wales for the second 40. Let's see what happens. In it goes. And going again. There's something on from the first move here with Queensland. And Langer couldn't get the pass away. Up it goes with Hancock. He's strong. He's 8 metres away. Now Larson to hit it on the right side. He dummies to Meninga, goes on his own, and he's 3 metres away. Andrew G has to take the tackle. They've got numbers left, Queensland. They need to spin it fast and wide, and there it goes. It's a matter of mathematics. Meninga, big Mel, in it goes to Khan, and he's lost it over the line. No try. Oh, boy, oh, boy. Willie Khan was over the line and couldn't ground the football.
Well, I guess New South Wales fans will say that's justice as we see Meninga. And there's some great hands prior to that from Mike McLean, who's been queried on that part of his game before. He's just knocked out as he's trying to lift the ball away from Brad Mackay's tackle to put it over the line. But New South Wales fans, of course, have seen 2 tries. Brad Fittler, as the penalty goes to New South Wales out of the scrum to relieve the pressure. Brad Fittler with the line open, dropping the ball. Rod Wishart similarly. Queensland now have their share of anguish with Willie Kahn doing the same.
Just under 4 minutes remaining. Queensland lead 8 points to 4. They've scored 2 tries to 1.
And have looked extremely dangerous in attack every time they can get down into the New South Wales quarter. Trouble is for the Queenslanders, they haven't spent all that much time down there.
So now, Gillespie plays it to Elias for Clyde. It's 10 out from the 22. Salvatore, strong and can unload. Craig Salvatore. Hasler from dummy half. At the halfway mark. Clyde's down and back plane. Stewart. The Hancock's on the run already. And so is Hoff. Hancock will have to hurry out of there. He's out. And he's away. Hasler waits for him. He's beaten him and he's still going. Ran into Ricky Stewart, but that was a great run for Mick Hancock, and Queensland have the roll. Now Hoff. Paul Hoff, tackled by Hasler just short of the halfway on tackle 2. Langer to Lewis. Long pass to Meninga. He doesn't look right to me, Lewis. He's got the ball again. Back to Larson. Meninga to dummy half for Coyne. Over the halfway. And with only 2.5 minutes to go, they're tied little Vegemites out there. Here's Stephen Walters. 10 metres inside New South Wales territory on the final tackle.
Walters yet another outstanding half of Origin football from the Canberra hooker.
So Lewis kicks. This is going to stop beautifully. Now McGaw confronts Larson and G. And also Hancock. And Larson puts him down.
Fairley coming on for Bradley Clyde.
Here's Clyde with the ball now. David Fairley walking the touchline. Elias just outside his own 22. Now Stewart to Gillespie. Tackled by Coyne. Also in there was McLean. Now they keep running with O'Connor. Langer goes in with G. On the final tackle, 90 seconds to the break. Stewart. Back to Alexander this time. Taken by Hoff. Tries to run around Fairley. He beats it. By golly, what a good game he's had, this fellow. Here's Willie Kahn. Centre field, 10 out from the halfway. 60 seconds to go to halftime. Coyne. Just short of the halfway mark. Meninga's looking for it. But G takes it. Runs it over the halfway mark.
Clyde's in trouble with an ankle injury.
Here's Langer. They're laying off him. Up the middle goes Wally Lewis. Fittler with a little snap. On the final tackle, Langer for touch.
I think that tackle, Wally Lewis may have just felt a niggle, a strain in the groin muscle. He twisted awkwardly as he went down as Greg Alexander makes his first burst of the game. He's getting nowhere there on the tackle. So Lewis might find a bit of a problem as the match progresses with that.
All right, Ricky Stewart now. 13 seconds to go to halftime. And I think both teams will be quite satisfied. I think to play at the set of 6 as David Fairley touches the ball and go to the halftime break. We won't have time to play it. That's it. That's half-time. At the break, Queensland lead New South Wales 8 points to 4. 2 tries to 1 in what is only can be described, Andrew, as a seeing and fluctuating 40 minutes of football.
Yes, but I mean, strange in the sense that both the games been played in both quarters largely. Not much is happening in the middle of the field. It's either down Queensland end or down New South Wales end. And Queensland have had the bonus of being able to cross that line once, although, as we said earlier, 3 tries have been bombed, 1 by Willie Kahn, 1 by Fittler, 1 by Rod Wishart. So there's been the opportunity for that try scoring. 3 opportunities been taken. We haven't seen a goal landed. Wally Lewis there
referred to, a little problem he had in that last tackle.
He looks to be in trouble to me.
Been looking for Mel Meninga a lot tonight. Of course, that's a fairly sound idea, the way Mel runs, but he's really tried to link with him and perhaps hasn't had quite the success they'd like at this stage. Bob Lindner, of course, didn't get a run through that first half, as we see the Lane crowd, and I guess pretty satisfied with a 4-point lead. I guess as the pipe bands come out to play, Graham Lowe will be making his way down, as will Tim Sheens, to talk to the respective teams. We'll be back after this break.
Fish are jumping, waves are pumping, steak a sizzling. This is living, an ocean as blue as the sky up above it. We love it up here. We don't just like it, we love it. We don't just like it, we love it. We love it up here. The people, the places, the mates, the faces, the forest, yeah. The beer up here, we love it up here.
Hi, John.
You look good.
60 to the gallon.
You're so fine.
I didn't know that.
Smart car, Daihatsu.
Ingy's got a charade.
You got style.
Ingy!
And you're mine.
3-year warranty.
You're my best friend, Daihatsu.
Tom, your charade's got multi-valve, right? Uh-huh. Smart. Well, that's great.
You look good. And you're mine.
I got it.
Smart car, Daihatsu.
I can't wait. 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 I can't wait for the great.
Is it the Colonel's secret blend of 11 herbs and spices? Is it the way it's cooked? Or is it that now you can relax and eat in comfort at our place? Or spend seconds in the drive-thru on your way home? Whatever it is, you don't have to wait very long at all.
On June 11, 1991, Michael Lewis started his super with Prudential.
With Prudential, you get flexibility.
Sounds good.
On June 11, 1992, Michael Lewis adjusted his super for greater growth.
For greater growth.
Yes.
On June 11, 1993, we adjusted Michael's super again.
Like to adjust our super for greater growth.
Splendid.
At Prudential, you can adjust your super mix once a year, free of charge, if you want to.
Adjust our super again.
For more growth.
On June 11, 1995, Michael didn't turn up. It was Sunday. He turned up Monday instead. Prudential, flexible super for greater growth.
No ordinary tyre outlasts the Toyo Samurai. For the very first time on television, the comedy hits.
Now, who wants to go one-on-one?
The outrageous Police Academy 6.
I have just the men for the job.
Yes, the men are back.
Misunderstood.
And don't say we didn't tell you, this is the funniest Police Academy on record.
Don't say it.
Toyota presents Police Academy 6.
That was very exciting.
Premieres 8:30 Sunday on Channel 9.
Just don't say it.
Welcome back live to Lang Park. At half-time, Queensland lead New South Wales by 8 points to 4. 2 tries to 1 as we have a look at the stats for the first half. Penalties went New South Wales' way, 2-1, so we haven't seen much of Bill Harrigan. The scrums Queensland's way, 3-1. They've scored 2 tries to 1, and the kicking's been Australia. O'Connor, none from 1. Mel Meninga, none from 2. No field goals. Queensland leads 8 points to 4. The first 40 minutes had everything. Let's have a look at it. Now Elias, Stewart. They throw it long with Fittler with the grubber kick. Here's O'Connor on the fly with Johns. Johns is there, and Chris Johns is in to score. Bill Harrigan will award the try. The kick from Fittler. The race was from O'Connor and Johns has beaten his Bronco teammate into the corner to score. No goal. David Gillespie was the man in question now to Langer. The cutout pass to Lewis. Meninga hops into a hole. He'll go for the line. He's got Alexander's measure. He's in. Oh, Paul Hoff, that's great stuff. Alexander was left grabbing at oxygen. Paul Hoff's beaten them. And this is a great game of football. 4-all the score, and there's only 8 minutes gone. He's missed it. It's not even close. And on the final tackle, the kick will have to be on for a bit of breathing space. Langer will have to hurry. Actually, he's done it pretty well into space. Can he tow through? Stewart kicks it ahead. It's picked up, and you can shut the gate. Mickey Hancock's in. Mickey Hancock's in off a New South Wales blunder. It had been all New South Wales pressure. They make a meal of it centre field. Mick Hancock thinks that Santa Claus time he's over. No goal. That's none from 2. Queensland lead 8 points to 4. We'll take a break and be back with Lang Park in a moment.
In a world where finance dominates everything, it helps to keep things in perspective. Like applying for a home loan. You're the one who does all the homework, negotiates the price, and has to make all the repayments. So if your bank still treats you like they're doing you a favour, you can always find someone who's more in favour of you. Until the old banking system realises that, there will be no other bank like Medway Bank.
With only this much tyre between you and the road, wouldn't you be safer on Bridgestone? The latest tread designs and rubber compounds give unbeatable control and stopping power. Bridgestone, that's confidence. Buy Bridgestone and you could win a Qantas Jetabout holiday for 2 in Fiji, plus $500.
1991 is Visit Indonesia year. You can stroll along the beach where Mick Jagger played his guitar by moonlight. Be welcomed at the hotel where President Reagan stayed. Be enchanted by the lake where Ringo Starr went sightseeing. Stand on the mountaintop where Elle Macpherson watched the sunrise. And this is the airline you fly to get there. Come to Bali and beyond with Garuda Indonesia. And from June 14, we'll be flying from Brisbane every Monday and Friday. Ask your travel agent for the Garuda Indonesia brochure.
Time's running out on the Nissan deal that's beaten all records. Thousands of Australians have saved up to $4,000 with Nissan's 2-year free comprehensive insurance. And that's on top of super deals on new Pulsar and Pintara. Hurry, see your Nissan dealer now.
There's a special feeling about this city, something vital and proud.
It's there in every face you see. The spirit of Brisbane, be the best you can be. We've been a part of it all this time. The spirit of Brisbane, the spirit of night. Friendly and warm, all winter long. The spirit of Brisbane, the spirit of night.
You missed a bit.
Wait till the boss sees this.
In a world of change, one thing will never change, doing our best for Brisbane.
Looks great, Marty.
The spirit of night.
The 1991 Winfield State of Origin Telecast. Proudly sponsored by 4X. We love it up here. And Medway Bank, the bank that keeps banking your way.
Hello, welcome back to Lang Park. It's half-time in the State of Origin, and with me is Mike Cleary, a dual international and also a blue, I might add, Mike.
Yeah, no stranger to Lang Park, but there's no change in atmosphere here. It's been brilliant, but since I got out of politics, I've now joined Sky, and I just want to tell you, Sean, that you and your team
is going all over Australia, this coverage. I mean, Sky Channel's picking it up, so hello to all the clubs and all the hotels all over Australia. They're watching a great game of football. It's a great coverage.
Exactly right. The first half, it lived up to everyone's expectations.
Well, you know, within 2 minutes you saw the little kick through, and of course then John's going over the try line. A quick reply 10 minutes later by Meninga, who slipped a pass to Huff, who went over, and then of course Lango with his brilliant little kick, and you saw Hancock go over in the corner. I mean, it's had everything. But what I noticed about is that Queensland seem to be more organised. They're standing deep and running onto the ball, and New South Wales is bustled. So New South Wales have got to get their act together. I think otherwise it's going to be a Queensland runaway.
So how do you see the second half going? If Queensland score first, do you think they will run away?
Well, New South Wales has got to score first, otherwise Queensland will. I mean, the control of the ball by Queensland is far superior to New South Wales. You've got Wishart out on the wing there, having a go at everything, but knocking on them. And he's trying, but they're trying too hard, and it's just not coming off. So I'm saying New South Wales, settle down, otherwise you're in for a big shock.
What about the guys who can win the game for New South Wales, O'Connor, Alexander and such? They need to come to the fore, don't they?
Well, O'Connor got a knock early when he ran into Mal Meninga, and I don't think that's helped him. Bradley Clyde's come off, looks like his knee's gone again. I saw Nathan Gibbs, the doctor, take him to the sideline and back into the room. So, and of course with your big blocker Roach, who's got the flu, I mean, he came off after 20 minutes. So I don't know where the big guns are in New South Wales. I mean, Fittler's doing his job, looking after Wally Lewis, but that's about where it ceases.
OK, thanks very much for talking to us, Mike. Back to you, Alan.
Thank you, everyone.
Mike Cleary, dual international, and he hasn't made any bones about it. New South Wales don't score first. He thinks they're gone, Andrew.
Well, I agree with him, but the bad news out of that little discussion with Mike is that Bradley Clyde was taken into the sheds and looked at by Nathan Gibson, and let's hope that perhaps it's not as serious as is feared, because he's a great player. And there's the metres gained in the first half, 42 from Queensland. They dominate New South Wales, 34 metres. And the time in opposition half, 15 minutes New South Wales and 17 minutes spent in the New South Wales half by Queensland.
As you said, Andrew, a lot of the play has been in the quarters as we look now. Queensland spending 55% of the time in there, New South Wales 45. So the match, as you said, has been played in the quarters, very, very little around the middle.
Yes, and there's the crowd waiting for their heroes to come out. No doubt who those heroes are. They'll be wearing maroon for those supporters.
All right, players about to come out for the second half. Let's go down to the sideline with Gene Miles and Sean Lawson.
Gino, OK, how do you see the second half going?
Well, I'm pretty sure that, you know, as Mike Cleary said, if Queensland score next, I think that's the game. But, you know, New South Wales got away to a dream start. They couldn't ask for a better start. And, you know, Queensland have hit back very well. They've only spent about 3 or 4 times in New South Wales territory, and they've come up with 2 tries. So I'm pretty sure that New South Wales is like a little bit of that. You know, I'm confident that they can get a bit of ball in Queensland half. They'll hit back.
But one thing in Queensland's favour, Gino, and there's no secret to it, 33,000 fans here. They should bring them home.
Yeah, you know, as I said, if they score next, the crowd will get right behind them, and yeah, that's half the battle. I think New South Wales, the starting pack, if you have a look at who come off the field after that first 40 minutes, there's only 3 of the original pack that started the game. So I think a little bit of cohesion has been lost there.
OK, Gino, thanks very much. Back to you, Alan.
As the players return, Andrew Slack, Bob Lindner still hasn't been used, and Graham Lowe must be just saving him up for the right time.
Yeah, well, I guess as the New South Wales team make their way onto Lang Park, Brad Fittler, Rod Wishart, 2 players responsible for bombing tries for New South Wales in the first half, although they both played soundly. And Ben Elias, captain Bob Lindner, you referred to, because he hasn't played football for some 7 or 8 weeks because of a broken leg. And this will be his first hit out. I think Graham Lowe probably sees that he's got half an hour in him. He may wait 10 minutes. I think it'll be largely dependent on what happens in the first 10 minutes. If perhaps New South Wales scores straight away, he might whip Lindner on. Otherwise, he'll hold him back. And having not used him in the first half of the last 5 or so minutes, as I thought he may have, it could be the half hour from 10 minutes in this second half. Gary Coyne retains his place. He came on late in that first half, and he's out there. And there's our top tacklers with Steve Jackson and Steve Walters on 13, Larson on 12, and Bradley Clyde is off the field, and Mackay is a kick-off for the second half.
Meninga restarts, Alexander on his knees to Wishart. Good strong run from Wishart before he's eventually effectively held. This is David Fairley. Tackled by his Northern Suburbs teammate Gary Larson. Gillespie just tries all night, Dave Gillespie. He takes it just outside the 20. So Craig Salvatore in 16 on the field. Desi Hasler's there as well. Stewart gets the kick in. Now, are they 10 metres? That's the question. Harrigan rules they are. The Lang Park crowd rules that they weren't, but unfortunately they don't have the whistle. Steve Walters goes to dummy half for Coyne. David Fairley right around the ankles. Now Bella over the halfway mark, and every time he takes the ball up, Martin Bella, he receives applause from the Lang Park crowd. So on the final tackle, Meninga's called for on the blind side, and Alexander won't have the hope. He's been relatively quiet, Andrew Slack, Alexander, by the same token. I'm not going to write him off. He's too dangerous, but he hasn't done a lot.
Well, I was going to say he hasn't made a mistake, and there's a somewhat dour-looking Tim Sheens. He hasn't made a mistake, but of course he has. Paul Hoff sidestepped him for that first try as if Alexander was non-existent. In attack, he's done very little. Hasn't dropped anything, hasn't made any major mistakes, but it just hasn't been the impact player people expect of the Penrith utility. Normally a halfback, of course. I don't know if fullback's his real spot. Some people think it is.
All right. Here's Fairley. Takes it to the centre of the ground. So Elias for Salvatore. And he's at the 22. Seemed to be a bit of a mix-up in the dummy half position there for New South Wales. It was Hasler and Elias there. Hasler eventually took it.
There's no doubt, thanks to Steve Walters, that Queensland have enjoyed superiority in that situation. He's been fantastic from dummy half.
Here's Alexander, turning it inside to O'Connor. Changing direction.
Who should make the tackle but Steve Walters.
Now Elias to dummy half on the final tackle. So Stewart for position. That's nicely kicked. It's a jam.
This telecast is proudly sponsored by Castlemaine Perkins, makers of 4X.
So once again, New South Wales, their positional play, Andrew, has been first class, particularly with Stewart's kicking. And if they can come up with one against the feed, and I don't know how Bill Harrigan rules the balls out there, but it's Queensland's ball somehow. So New South Wales hoping for a Queensland handling error inside their own quarter.
Yes, they have applied the pressure well through Stewart, but doesn't it say something? Oh, listen, let a tackle and a half from Gillespie. Has tackled well, but so have the Queenslanders. And the only try coming to New South Wales from a kick, so the line otherwise hasn't been broken, which is a big rap for the Queenslanders.
So here's Langer deciding to have a gallop. On the final tackle, the clearing kick must come. He's a bit slow on the play of the ball. Lewis gets his kick in. McGool waits for it. Knocked back. Runs to Larson, and they don't get him, but Meninga does and puts him to the ground. As we go back to the sideline to find out what happened in the dressing rooms at the break.
Okay, for New South Wales, Coach Tim Sheens is actually down on the sideline. That's how concerned he is. He wants them to keep the marker defence up and also support Ricky Stewart's kicking game. And I think we'll see a lot more ball go to the New South Wales backs in this half.
From the Queensland dressing room, Graham Lowe obviously very happy with the scoreboard, but there is one aspect of the play he wants lifted, and that's their marker defence also. And he said to treat New South Wales with a lot of respect.
Oh, Fittler's knocked it on. He's ruled it's touched by Queensland. He tried to get the pass away. Fittler knocked it on, but it's play on. Now here's Stewart. He's away. Cover defence from Meninga, and the pass went wide. Eventually Alexander was tackled by Khan, and he gave him a backhander. Now New South Wales with David Fairley. Hands free, they stand and tackles Fittler. Hasler's on his shoulder. Brad Fittler has lost the football this time. McLean will come up with it. So Fittler's done some good things, but his handling's let him down. Here's Paul Hoff. So Queensland find themselves again inside their own 22, where they played 55% of the first half. Gary Coyne short of that quarterway. Larson Just takes it outside the 22. I need one more forward to hit it up. But Jackson runs, and he's tackled. Langer's gone down injured. The ball's gone loose. New South Wales have got it. Langer trying to get, just struggles to his feet, and now New South Wales with Elias. He's gone the wrong side. He only had O'Connor. Now to Fairley. In goes Larson. And New South Wales again territorially since the start of the second half are in command in that position. Long pass and cut-out pass. Now it goes to Fittler. Back to Stewart. Knocks it back, and he's allowed to run, and here goes Mark Magore. Right up over the quarterway he goes, and he's got Larson. Larson went low. New South Wales in attacking zone. If Magore can get up and play the ball, but he can't. So Stewart will play it. Harrigan checking just to see how badly hurt he is. Well, here's Magore over the top of Larson. Jackson and Walters.
He's got Jackson's left knee in the midriff. I think that's what's caused the pain as Jackson pulled him down. We'll have a look at it now. Jackson comes in. You see it for yourselves. There's the accidental, I might add, Jackson knee. He comes down on it. Bang. Ouch.
Queensland under a lot of pressure, Andrew.
They are indeed, but the pressure of the first 40 minutes and of the first half, and then 7 minutes of the second half, as Brad Izzard warms up, hasn't realised many points, only the 4. And Magore being assisted off, limping off at this stage. New South Wales play the ball.
Right, now it goes to Salvatore. And he's tackled about 20 out from the line. He'll play it to Elias. Now Stewart and the runners are there. That's too deep, I think. Good kick, Hancock in the end. Takes it over the dead ball line. Queensland will drop out, and New South Wales again to mount pressure.
Yes, once again doing the unexpected in the kicking before the 6th tackle. Surprise for the Queenslanders. Hancock covered well, waited till the last moment before he picked it up. As Magore.
Magore's off, Izzard is on.
Better off than he was initially. I'd say we'll see Magore back on. Bob Lindner on the sideline warming up as Lewis prepares to drop out. He'll need a long one.
Skews off, might even go into touch. Whoops! Fittler juggles and holds it. So New South Wales are 10 outside the Queensland 22. Rod Wishart. He takes it within 5 of the 22-metre line. He'll play it to Elias, to Gillespie. Hands free, over to Stewart. He's got Mackay outside, but the pass goes to Fairley. Standing very flat in attack, New South Wales. Hasler first receiver. He's at the 22-metre line. 8 minutes gone, second half. Queensland lead 8-4, and it's been all New South Wales pressure. They run inside the quarter on the final tackle. Here's Izzard for Hancock. Tidies up and has a scoop. Can't get rid of Elias. So Queensland hang on. But they can't get out of their own quarter at the moment. Someone has to make a break. They must look for Martin Bella to get them over the advantage line. That's Andrew G. to get out of the quarter, and then the kicking game and the chase has to be spot on. Whoops, Khan. Risky pass. Bella hit hard by Izzard, Mackay and Wishart. Now in the final tackle. Oh, Queensland in diabolical trouble here. They can't get rid of it. That's the final tackle. They can't get out of their quarter. They haven't got it right. New South Wales have the ball. Khan limping in back play. Here's Fittler. Long pass to Johns playing as a centre. And he's at the 22-metre line. New South Wales, it's been all the Blues for the first 10 minutes of the second half. How long can Queensland keep holding them out? They lead only by 8 points to 4. Ricky Stewart stands to play it to Elias. 10 metres close out New South Wales. Ominous signs. The crowd calling for the Queensland defence to hold. Alexander to Fittler. Here he goes. O'Connor's lost it. Hancock's knocked it on. It'll be a double knock on and Queensland will get the feed.
And Greg Alexander looking most annoyed, but Brad Fittler, who got outside Wally Lewis then, it was a poor pass from Fittler, and the disgust obvious from Tim Sheens. That again was a try blown.
Looks like Bobby Lindner's coming on for Queensland.
Bob Lindner comes to the sideline. Queensland have to get out of their own territory, Andrew Slack. There's too much pressure from New South Wales. Here's Hancock, tackled by Izzard. They're hungry, New South Wales. They're tackling like demons. There's Larson. He's still only 10 out from his own line. Mike McLean, 13 out from the line. New South Wales tackling like demons. Bella will get it over the quarterway. There's one more to hit it up before the kick. As Lindner comes onto the field.
Michael McLean leaves.
So Alan Langer, now they're on the final tackle. Do they get the kicking game right this time? Lewis has just got that kick in them. They're too slow on the play the ball.
Chris Johns did leave the 5-metre area before the play the ball, then should have been penalised. Great pressure and a great tackle from Bobby Lindner. His first seconds in the game, he's made his mark already, and he's in on the second as well.
Rod Wishart takes it within 8 of the halfway. It's been all New South Wales in the second half, but they just haven't been able to get over the try line. Queensland have hardly been in their territory with the football. Gillespie wrapped up on the halfway mark. Elias is away from that marker area. Gillespie didn't want it and dropped it on. So for the first time, Queensland might get a bit of breathing space.
And they need it, Gene Miles, don't they, after defending for 12 minutes down in that quarter?
Yeah, they certainly do. They put a lot of hard work in down here, and it's good to see them get out of their own half. Another interesting move will be that the New South Wales have got a touch of Penrith out there now with Alexander at fullback and also Brad Izzard in the centres and Brad Fittler at 5'8", so that would be a very dangerous combination.
So Langer to Hoff. Round the corner it goes to Khan. He's not effectively held. He's still going. And he's inside the quarter. Good run from Willie Khan. So Queensland have the ball inside New South Wales territory. Langer turns it inside to Jackson, to Andrew G. And back it goes to Walters. He'll take the tackle, 8 out from the try line. It's the only time Queensland have been down here. It's gone away to Langer. And here's Jackson. He's tackled 5 out on the final tackle. Who calls for it? Larson will take the tackle. Queensland's play on the final tackles is just all over the shop, Andrew Slack.
Yeah, there wasn't enough organisation there, and great shame for Queensland because it would have been, I reckon, a fatal psychological blow to New South Wales. Queensland's first time in the 22 after New South Wales spending all that time down there. Queensland have got over and shot to a 8 or even 10-point lead. I think it would have been good night, God bless, for the Blues.
So New South Wales now trying to ruck it out of their own quarterway. Oh, along the ground it goes. It's picked up by Hasler, and he's allowed to run across field. Oh, it's gone back inside to Mackay, and that's panic stuff. Elias from dummy half, good scout. That was a whippy one, and away goes Salvatore. He's gone over the halfway and he's thrown it inside, picked up by Izzard. A great tackle around the corner to Stewart. It's hold-on job now. Stewart takes the tackle. Final tackle on its way. New South Wales with Alexander. How's the bounce? It's play on. 6 to go. Elias, 10 out from the line. Great charge from the Blues. Now to Alexander, to Izzard, and he gives it to Salvatore, and O'Connor's got space. He's in. That's the equaliser. 8 points all the score. Great set of play by New South Wales. They ran the ball from there. Now, what's Harrigan ruling here?
10 minutes to Martin Bella in the sin bin, I believe, is his ruling. Exactly what it's for, I'm unsure. Bella was involved in a tackle on Izzard early on. I think it may have been something he said as opposed to something he did. But it doesn't change the score. 8-all to Queensland. There's Bella going to the sin bin, and Queensland will miss him. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, good job. So Michael O'Connor.
And here is the try, and Queensland constantly retreating in that play there, and it just became a numbers game in the end with a good draw from Salvatore as he slipped it onto O'Connor. Meninga had to go in on Salvatore to try and stop that movement. Wasn't able to do so. Good quick hands from the prop, allowing O'Connor to score yet another try for New South Wales.
Well, gee, Miles, that was creative play from New South Wales. They took chances out from their own line and it's paid off.
Yes, they're not afraid to throw the ball around. I think you'll notice Craig Salvatore setting himself out very wide outside the centres even now, and he played a big part in that try. He scored that. He ran down that touchline there and caused a big bust, and then again involved himself in 2 more plays after that.
Well, they can't throw cans, so they threw apples as O'Connor comes in.
So that's a shocker. We'll take a break and be back in a moment.
Hey, what's this chill filtered?
Well, that's what makes light bitter taste so good. It's chill filtered to lock in the flavour.
And does it?
Well, you tell me.
The way some insurance companies talk about superannuation, you could think that we'll all be filthy rich and carefree. The truth is, if you're not paying enough now, you simply won't have enough when you retire. So if your superannuation agent has you dreaming about all that money, you should talk to someone who'll help you get all that money. Medway Super realizes that, so they'll make sure you can afford to have a dream come true.
So from the kick-off, it's Rod Wishart. Slung to the ground by his opposite number and Khan. Elias goes to dummy half. Over to Fairley. Gillespie. Workaholic, and he's done his job well. Here's Elias from dummy half. He's made about another 5 metres. New South Wales starting to get a bit of a roll on in that dummy half position. Martin Bella, remember, off the field in the sin bin. That's touched, so this will be play on. And it's come in the hands of Fairley. They've got numbers everywhere. Hasler's off for the line. Can Hancock get him? As he slid over, is it a double movement? He's going toward a try. Hasler's made his ground. Des Hasler's in the corner. New South Wales score 2 tries in 3 minutes. They lead 12-8.
And the ounce of luck that was needed came New South Wales' way, and I don't think there's absolutely no doubt about the fact that Hasler did score that try. It wasn't a double movement, it was momentum. However, I do believe there is a bit of doubt about the pass that was thrown to Hasler, whether or not that was forward. We'll see on the replay. That kick was charged down immediately, putting the New South Wales players onside. And that is the pass from David Fairley, which I believe may well have been forward. Very close. A close thing, but not a double movement from Hasler. He's slid over the line.
So the game has had a quick twist. Stewart putting it up in the air, the charge down. Lewis went up with Fittler into the hands of Fairley. Stewart calling on the inside. Now Hasler went off for the line. Hancock gave him a start, mowed him down, and well, to me, that's momentum. That's fair try for mine. So 12 points to 8. New South Wales hit the front. Well, on his last kick, you wouldn't put too much on Mick O'Connor kicking this one. And he won't. New South Wales lead Queensland 12 points to 8.
Hey, what's this chill filtered?
Well, that's what makes light bitter taste so good. It's chill filtered to lock in the flavour.
And does it?
Well, you tell me.
Back live at Lang Park. Meninga restarts. And to me, Gene Miles, the trouble Queensland are getting into, apart from the fluke try, it's on the final tackles.
Yes, they're just not putting any pressure on the kicker, and you know, of course that was a lucky try, but that's 2 and 5 minutes now, and Queensland will have to dig very deep with 12 men into that Queensland pride.
So now Elias dictates the tune for Gillespie, for Salvatore, and he's out over the 22. Elias under Walters, and he's away. The flick pass, well, the Queensland player was held trying to get the ball. Hasler's come up with it, and Queensland rightly will get the penalty. So Queensland have a chance to mount some pressure. In fact, they have to hit back. It's 20 minutes remaining. Jackson finds touch inside the quarter with a good touch finder. So Langer now, all forwards on full cry. It's laid back, and Lewis runs up the middle, but Fairley got hold of him.
Wasn't much left if Fairley hadn't.
Now through Langer and Jackson. Meninga out wide. Big Mel, he's inside the 22, but the cover defence was too good from Brad Fittler. Larson hits it up. Fairley met him halfway. Got the better of the exchange. Here's Lindner. 12 out from the line. It's gone to Walters, and now Langer. He has to run the other side. The numbers aren't with him. Over the top to Hoff. He's away. He's 10 out from the line. They play the ball for Stephen Walters. Lewis calls for it. Langer met by Fairley, and now the final tackle's on its way. Lewis will kick. Does he grub it or does he put it up? It's for Larson, but it's Alexander who's found space. Hancock mows him down. That's the forward Poe. He didn't throw the pass, Johns. Izzard was in front of him, but New South Wales are back to the halfway mark. Now comes the Stewart. Queensland holding off in tackles. New South Wales lead 12 points to 8.
New South Wales support play has been outstanding in his last 10 or so minutes.
Gillespie up the centre of the ground. Elias away from dummy half. Graham Lowe wanted that marker defence tightened up. New South Wales exploiting it well. Now for Stewart, he's going to kick for O'Connor. In the end, he changed his mind and just found touch. And once again, Queensland defending their own line.
And once again in a quarter line. We went from one quarter line to the other, or quarter-metre zone to the other, thanks to a couple of missed tackles on Alexander. And then that support player I was talking about, he had a choice of a pass left or right, Alexander, when he made that break. Queensland now as the scrum screws.
And the penalty goes to New South Wales against Stephen Walters. He's found a loose arm in there somewhere. So Lewis arguing the toss. It won't do you any good with Bill Harrigan. You better regroup the troops, Wally. Stewart comes up to find touch. 12 points to 8 to try to New South Wales here. Might just about wrap it up. So Stewart boots it into touch. What's the planned move from Elias? Salvatore runs it straight at the line. He's 2 metres out. Now it goes to Gillespie. That's on number 2. Elias dumbing inside to Brad Mackay on 3. Stewart telling the backs to line out deep, and it's gone through his hands to Fairley. He's trying to find a hole for Izzard. He's still standing in tackles, David Fairley on tackle 4. Now Elias spins it with Alexander. Holding it up. O'Connor's met by Hancock.
Quick hands was needed then from O'Connor.
And that was,
for more reasons than one,
tough saving stuff on the final tackle. Alexander can't find a way through. Queensland come up with the ball. O'Connor's in trouble. So Queensland live to fight another day.
Still live with just 12 men.
So Hancock, 10 out from his own line. Martin Bella, remember, in the sin bin for 10 minutes. New South Wales defence keeping Queensland pinned. Now Langer, they're going to throw it. Oh, Khan just hung onto it. Mackay's got hold of him, he missed him. Inside to Meninga. Meninga's tackled over the halfway and a great covering tackle by Rod Wishart. He'll play the ball. Now it's gone to Langer. They need a quick pass out wide. Langer kicks ahead, tackle without the ball, and that'll be a penalty. So Queensland mount pressure. Alexander wants to argue the toss.
And the penalty may not be the bonus, and there it is, the kick and the grab from Fittler. The penalty may not be the bonus Queensland wanted. New South Wales were in disarray in defence. Had the ball been able to go left or play on from that kick, if they'd regained possession, would have been of much greater benefit to Queensland. New South Wales now realigned in defence, but they're back in their own 10-metre zone.
Dale Shearer on for Larson. Marty Bella coming back on as well.
All right, Queensland have the ball about 15 out from the line. Now Walters gives it over towards Coyne. Gary Coyne, he's off for the line. He can't get the final pass away. 12-8 is the lead for New South Wales. Walters gives it to Langer. Chinking, can't link up with anybody. 10 metres out from the try line. Walters a dummy half to Lewis, over to Jackson. He's 3 metres away. Walters now gives it to Peter Jackson again. Over the top to Langer. Now he's got big Paul Hoff. Meninga gets it back. And they're a chance now. They're a chance now. Shearer's on his own. He's in. He's in. They hung off him. And Queensland have finally cracked them. 12-all. Andrew Slacker in for another spine tingler.
Take a bow, Queensland, and take a bow, Graham Lowe, bringing Dale Shearer on, and I guess anybody out there would have scored it, but it was his first touch of the ball. He had the option of drawing the man and passing to the wing, and he took the right option. Inside goes Jackson after Lindner had taken it up earlier, and Langer avoids the players. Hoff again involved. Meninga again. The supporters now getting close to the Queenslanders. They'd struggled. New South Wales couldn't put them on the ground, and there's the gap for Dale Shearer. Opts not to give it to Michael Hancock. He'll take the 4 points, exactly what he did.
Can Meninga kick the goal? Gene Miles.
Mate, a great ball movement here. They just couldn't tie Big Bell up. Help with the big long ball over the top, and of course Rowdy's taken the right option here. He has the he does this quite often, Dale Shearer. He was used very well in the second game, and he played very well. And once again, he's come up with a try.
12-all to score. 13 minutes remaining. Mal Meninga with a chance to put Queensland in the lead. His kicking tonight has been woeful. In fact, no one's kicked the goal all night.
2 and 3/4 Origin encounters this year. It's 30 points all. This to break the deadlock.
Kicked it. We'll take a break and be back in a moment.
Fish are jumping, waves are pumping, steak a sizzling. This is living, an ocean as blue as the sky up above it. We love it up here. We don't just like it. We love it. We don't just like it. We love it. We love it up here. The people, the places, the mates, the faces, the 4X. Yeah, the beer up here, we love it up here.
From the kick-off, it went down to Peter Jackson, who returned the kick, and the chase is on from Lewis. Back it goes to Hasler. New South Wales are going to throw this ball all over the park with 11.5 minutes to go.
Clyde on for O'Connor.
Oh, he's dropped it. First touch of the ball, Bradley Clyde, he's put it down. So Queensland have the ball. 10 metres inside New South Wales territory with Bobby Lindner. Now the crowd start to roar for the Queenslanders. Here's Stephen Walters. The chant goes up. They lead 14-12. Now here's Bella. Martin Bella, 15 away from the try line. Langer calls for the football. He's got it now. Jackson, standing in tackles, goes to ground. Now to Langer. Is the kick on? It is. How's the chase? It's dropped. Penalty. Held without the football. New South Wales get the penalty.
Yes, Dale Shearer made the tackle prior to the New South Wales player receiving that kick from Alan Langer. That was what penalty was for, no doubt about it. Good decision, Harrigan. 10 minutes remaining.
Cartwright coming on for New South Wales.
And I'm surprised he's been off so long.
So New South Wales, fine touch, inside their own 22. Well, they got out of jail at the football stadium, scoring in the final minutes as Salvatore takes it outside the quarter. And we're in the final 10 minutes now. That at last deciding game was back in 1987 here at Lang Park. The score was 10-8, 2 points the difference in favour of Queensland. It's 2 points in favour of them now with 9.5 minutes remaining. What a great series this has been. Ricky Stewart. The crowd trying to keep Queensland going. Gillespie, tackled by Lindner, and underneath was Coyne. Now, the kicks with Stewart. It's out the full. It's out on the full. Must have missed by a wart, Gene Miles, over your side of the ground.
Yes, mate. It's just come over the PA system that this is definitely Wally Lewis's final State of Origin match too, just for interest.
Well, the interest is not only Wally, but the last 8-9 minutes of the game. Here's Andrew G. Back to Stephen Walters. And the New South Wales forwards put him down. Here's Lindner. Bobby Lindner charging at the 22-metre line. He'll play it quickly to Walters, and now to Langer. Lewis. Meninga's dropped it. It'll be play on. Bill Harrigan playing the advantage here.
A fantastic tackle from Chris Johns.
So on the 22-metre line is where Queensland will play the ball if Peter Jackson gets to his feet. Langer. Now to Meninga. Back to Lewis. Can't get the pass away. It's the final tackle. It has to go in the air. Hancock dummies. Kicks ahead. And Alexander's tackled and he's in goal. Well, Michael Hancock showing initiative. It's paid off. Queensland will come up with the ball again.
There's great pressure from Hancock. Lewis, the kicker, was the man who'd been tackled, so there was no one ready for that kick. New South Wales expecting it to go right. Hancock not only showed his skills with the kick, but then applied the pressure, forcing Alexander to touch down behind his line. Ricky Stewart with the dropouts landed on halfway. Khan taking it off Alan Langer.
Khan trying to break the tackle, but he's run it to about 8 metres of the quarter line. There is 7 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Over it goes to Gary Coyne. He runs it within 2 metres of the quarter. Queensland lead 14-12. The State of Origin decider. The greatest rugby league in the world. Peter Jackson at the quarterway. Now to Langer. Jinking. Still going. The blind side might be the option. They've got numbers left. It goes that way with Bella. The big man's off for the try line. 10 out. Now the final tackle. Touch judge in.
Ricky Stewart doesn't really like things going against him. That was a loss of temper there. He just threw a short one in, right in front of the touch judge. Not right, Ricky.
Harrigan telling Elias to settle it down as we wait for the touch judge's report.
Ian Irwin, the touch judge.
Penalty goes to Queensland. Now does a Meninga attempt the goal? Well, he should attempt the goal because he can kick it dead. He should be able to. Oh, in goes Ricky with the right hand on Martin.
You just wonder what he could argue about, wouldn't you?
Well, it's almost the same spot where he's kicked the last one. And when I look at the last kick, He didn't kick it dead. I'd say you have to kick it or New South Wales will come up with possession, Andrew.
Well, one thing is for sure, the Willie Kahns and the Dale Shearers on the far post have got to treat it as an up and under. They've got to imagine over the try line, there's a chance there for a try, there's a chance of it hitting the post, and perhaps the option they'd prefer to take the one going between the posts.
So it's been confirmed this is Wally Lewis's final State of Origin appearance.
I don't think it's over-dramatising things to say that's an historical occasion, and one that certainly I'd say the Queensland players would be aware of. They'll realise that as they dig deep in these final 5 minutes.
Steve Roach is back on the field. And that's away, but he's kicked it dead. So the dropout will come from the 22. There is 4.5 minutes to go. Can New South Wales do it again? Laurie Daly did it here at Lang Park. Mark McGaw did it at the stadium, and O'Connor kicked the goal to draw the series. Can it happen again? Paul Hoff will ensure that it doesn't. He runs at 3 metres inside New South Wales territory. Hancock in the centre of the ground. Andrew G's looking for the ball. New South Wales forwards look for him and find him. 4 minutes to go. Peter Jackson. It's safety in numbers. Now with Langer. Dummies and takes the tackle. Now it's the final one. Lewis will call for it. And the chase will be on. Well, Hasler's pretty casual. Oh, look at this. Oh, yes.
Well, 3.5 minutes left in Wally Lewis's Origin career, and he's still got it. Still shows he can do it perfectly.
This telecast is proudly sponsored by the bank that keeps banking your way, Metway Bank.
So New South Wales, can they run it out from their own 22? They've got to go the length of the field, and they're going to give it a pretty fair shake. Izzard's tackled by Lewis. Here's Clyde. He's just short of the quarterway. Good running from New South Wales. Roach takes it over the quarterway on tackle number 3. It's a matter of defending now. It goes away to Stewart. Cartwright. He's got the pass to Izzard. Back inside, and that'll be Andrew G's ball. He's knocked it on both ways.
Yes, good call, Bill Harrigan. Just got a fingertip to it, Andrew G. What a pass, John Cartwright.
There's the clock. It's counting down to 2 minutes and 20 seconds. With G getting the finger to it, New South Wales will come up with a ball. Should. Queensland have got 2 minutes and 10 seconds to defend. Here's Alexander. Across, and Fittler. Hancock lets Shearer take him. Here's Hasler, and he's tackled. 1 minute and 58 seconds to go. Alexander's to Clyde. To Fairley. Centre of the ground. Queensland regroup. Now Stewart. He doesn't want Roach. He wants Cartwright. Now back to Stewart. Over it goes to Fairley. Inside it goes to Stewart. Off to Elias. They keep it alive. Queensland have to hurry. Hasler should hold the ball. 1 minute 20 seconds to go. 14-12 Queensland lead. And the numbers are wide. The numbers are wide. He's dropped it, Wishart. He's had a shocking night with the hands. Queensland get the loose head and feed with 64 seconds to go.
The loose head, the feed, and I would suggest the Origin series as Graham Lowe and Tosser Turner, Mark Murray behind Graham Lowe, come down the steps, hoping that this last 57 seconds doesn't produce what the last couple of minutes did at the Sydney Football Stadium.
It's not over yet. Queensland need to win the scrum. They do with Langer. And Khan takes the tackle.
And the man of the match, Martin Bella, he was off for 10 minutes, sent to the sin, but the impact he had in that first half, instrumental in Queensland's success. New South Wales get the ball.
They've got the ball. 30 seconds to go. The match is not over. Here goes Elias. Inside, and it'll be Queensland's ball now. They dive on it. The countdown will come. There'll be one more play the ball, and the Queensland crowd will count down this series. That's it. It's all over. Queensland have won a memorable State of Origin series. Graham Lowe saying to Kevin Walters, I'm sorry you didn't get a run, son, but I thank you for what you've done. And Lewis leaves Lang Park, a football ground he's owned and dominated for more than a decade, and leaves the winner, the champion on this ground that he's always been.
Nothing needs to be said.
An era has passed. And Wally showing emotion. He's not a real emotional fellow. 30 seconds. Martin Bella just announced on the PA that he's the man of the match. And Lewis leads Queensland to another memorable victory. And once again, Andrew Slack, 2 points the margin. Let's go to Darrell Eastlake with Wally.
We won the game, but I think congratulations has got to go to both teams. That was a magnificent game of football. You know, there weren't many goal kicks in it, but I don't think anybody can hope to see a better game.
Is it your last one?
Yeah, that's it, mate. I've got a little girl to look after now. I love her very much.
Go and enjoy it, mate.
Mel Meninga, who I asked earlier this morning when he was practicing goal kicking as he gives the fist, I said, mate, do you want a kick to make it a 2-point win to Queensland? He said, I'm confident about it. Sean Lawson on the sideline.
Bobby, you came back with the big one and the best one.
Oh, terrific. I mean, I did it easy. Like, the work was done, really. Came on, there were 2 tries scored against us and one with us while I was on the field. But really, the guys set up the win in the first half, I thought. Even though we had a bit of a lapse there, but it was all set up then.
A magnificent series and a fitting climax to Queensland win, but what a series.
Magic series, and I'm just so glad that I was lucky enough to be here tonight playing in it.
As the Queenslanders parade around the outer in front of, well, I think it's their beloved fans, and the team are the beloved team to the fans. And Martin Bella, what an excited man he is.
We did it, he says. And he's led from the front.
And I really think that first half hour where he took it out of Queensland's 22 was the main reason for Queensland winning. And he's a just man of the match. No risk. Of course, a lot of players, again, could have vied for it. Martin Bella, well deserved.
His second man of the match award. Paul Hoff, of course, played brilliantly. The forwards worked as a pack. They tackled their heart out. And it really was a solid team effort. You must spare a thought for Graham Lowe.
There's Lincoln Lewis and Mitchell with Dadwell.
Graham Lowe out of his sick bed with the walking stick to come here tonight to put the final touches on his team. Mick Hancock would forget the first couple of minutes when Chris John snuck past him, but came back to play his heart out. And I don't think any of the 31,000 have left this ground as we go back to Sean.
What's it feeling like?
Mate, this is unbelievable. I never think it could feel so good.
Especially to come back in the second half. Didn't look too good there for a while.
Yeah, I think the try I bumped in the corner there might have been a match breaker, but I got knocked out of my hands. I'm just glad we come out with the points.
How would you describe this series, Willie?
Mate, this is unbelievable. You know, this morning when I woke up, I felt pretty good. I didn't feel so good about lunchtime, man. I started feeling good when we came in here. This crowd is just magnificent.
Okay, Graham Lowe, what do you think of his performance as a coach? Should we make him an honorary Queenslander?
Oh, mate, he's unbelievable. You know, he's a Kiwi and he's come up here and he's just like a Queenslander. He's just got a big heart and he's just told us the little things what we had to do in the game, and we did them and it came ahead.
Well done, Willie.
Thanks, mate.
Well, we've got to give credit to the New South Wales side, Andrew Slack. They have played 3 magnificent games of football.
They have. Every player involved has been superb. And Paul Hoff now speaking with Darryl Eastlake.
Had a magnificent series. I mean, the first game you played so well, you got hurt. You come back, and tonight, I mean, you may have played yourself into a green and gold jumper. Have you thought about that?
Well, no, not really. Gary Belcher's been injured, so I just might have to wait behind him for a few more years, and I'll just see how things go.
What about the feeling of that try, that sidestep you put on it was just giant?
Yeah, well, I just saw the line, and Graham's been telling me all week to pin my ears back and just go. So I decided, you know, instead of looking around, I'd just go. And we're just lucky enough I got over the line.
Well, that is deafening noise, and the reason is that Wally and his 2 sons are walking around slowly, the outer waving his goodbyes to the crowds who have been so good to him, and he's been so good to them. Now the man who perhaps more instrumental than any other, Graham Lowe.
Describe this feeling in words.
I'm just thankful to be part of it.
That's surely it's going to improve your health, a win like this.
Too right, mate. You know, nothing wrong with my legs now. I might go out and do a couple of laps.
They're saying, though, they should make you an honorary Queenslander.
Well, I'd love to be one.
What's it like to be part of a team? It's your first series.
It's an honour. It's an honour.
Okay, mate, thanks very much.
He's always said that, Graham Lowe. I remember the first interview I did with him when he was announced as coach, and he said, Alan, to be asked, and you are invited to coach Queensland, you don't apply. He said to be asked is the biggest honour that anyone could ever wish to have bestowed upon them.
And he means it. And it's, I think the most poignant factor was when he did apologise to Walters. He didn't immediately celebrate. His thought was with his players, Kevin Walters, who didn't get a run. That's Graham Lowe all over. Now back for another Darryl Eastlake interview.
It's just been the most magnificent series that I think anybody's ever seen anywhere in the world.
It's a shame they had to be a loser. Darryl, you know, again another tough, tired affair tonight, and just happy for being a Queensland win tonight in front of these people.
Was there a time tonight when you were down that you thought we can't climb back?
No, that's not our spirit. We always knew we had the commitment and the character to get back. There were 12 men down. They had a focus with a couple of tries, but we knew we could come back, and we did. It happens to their last goal kick.
And Lewis's last game?
Yeah, it's a shame. He's been a great ambassador for rugby league. Played more than a decade, and another player alongside him and against him that era, and I think he's the best player I've ever played with and against.
But you'll be back?
I think so, Darryl. I think so. I hope so, anyway.
Congratulations. Go and enjoy it.
Thank you.
Well, Mel Meninga will be back. I think that smile just ensures and endorses that he will be back.
I don't believe everything he said then. He said it was a shame they had to be a loser. I don't think Mel believed really that was the case. But fair play to Mel Meninga and the rest of the Queenslanders, and the man of the match is with Sean Lawson, Martin Bella.
That's right, Andrew. Marty Bella, man of the match. I think you can look forward to a test spot now, Marty.
I certainly hope so.
What was it like to be part of that win, and also to be involved in Wally Lewis's perhaps last game?
Mate, he's the greatest player I've ever run across, and it's a pleasure to have played with him, and especially in that game.
When you put your head down there, every time you ruck that ball up, what were you thinking?
I don't know. It's just a matter of making ground. You know, get out to prove that the Blues can't tackle.
Okay. Thanks very much, Marty. We'll go to a break now.
Thank you.
Giving it ground. Melbourne got rain and Sydney got yuppies. Tassie got the chop, but we got lucky. Nowhere does it like up here, does it? We love it up here. We don't just like it. We love it. We don't just like it. We love it. We love it up here. The people, the places, the mates, the faces, the 4X, yeah. The beer up here. We love it up here.
Steamy adults-only drama is hotting up,
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
where sex is the weapon.
I've got something for you.
Who are you?
No punches pulled.
Well, how do I look?
Like a whore.
Provocation.
That's exactly what I need tonight.
And money to burn.
Isn't he fantastic? Fantastic. He's incredible.
Everyone wants it.
You are definitely not one of Nikki's school friends.
One of Nikki's teachers.
And you can get it Tuesday, 8:30 on Channel 9. Chances.
Well, back here at Lang Park, things finally starting to settle down.
Right here at Lang Park, a magnificent crowd you are. You are the best crowd in Australia, there's no doubt about that. Well, with me on the stage, we have a list of dignitaries and we have the formalities to go through after a magnificent series. Can you believe you can play 3 games the way they've been played with 2 points of difference each time around? First up, though, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Neil Abercrombie, who is the Queensland State Manager for Rothmans, and he has a very, very important award to make, of course, the presentation of the State of Origin Shield. Mr. Abercrombie.
Ladies and gentlemen, before presenting the Shield, I think you'd all agree with me tonight that we have seen what State of Origin football is all about. What an incredible series. Our company has had a 10-year association with the State of Origin series and its predecessor, the Interstate Series. I'm delighted to tell you tonight that this week we've completed negotiations with the New South Wales and Queensland Rugby Leagues, and we plan a much longer, further association so we can look forward to a lot more Winfield State of Origin series. Now, this series of the 10 years must have been the hardest fought, and I would have to say that although I happen to reside in Queensland, one must feel some sympathy for the losers. It was the tightest series. There were 2 points difference in the whole series. The difference was one man managed to thread a ball through the sticks and score those extra 2 points. It's the most incredible game of football and the most incredible series I've witnessed. I have very, very great pleasure in asking Wally Lewis to come forward to collect the State of Origin Shield. And I think as Wally comes forward, I think it's very fitting that we should acknowledge the announcement made tonight that Wally intends this to be his last series. If that is the case, it is wonderful to see one of the great players of history go out on such a sensational note. Ladies and gentlemen, Wally Lewis.
Thanks, ladies and gentlemen. Just a few thank yous, of course, to the Winfield Company again for their magnificent sponsorship of this sport. They are very valued sponsors, and we do thank them very much, the players and all the officials concerned with rugby league. To the New South Wales team, I've got to thank very much for tonight's game, and in doing that, congratulate my players at the same time. Regardless of who won tonight's football game, I think every person in the crowd would appreciate one of the greatest games of rugby league that they'll ever get to see in their lives. It's been a tremendous series. One of the greatest series of all time, I suppose, that we've had in the 13 or 14 years that it's been going, 13 years. And this being my last year, I've just got to thank everybody that's been associated and helped me over that amount of time. But it would be remiss of me to go any further without thanking Graham Lowe for his very brave efforts in helping the Queensland side. This guy has proven himself at in the international arena. He's proved himself in the club arena. Now he's proved himself in State of Origin. And he's made one of the most courageous decisions of all to come up here and join us when he probably common sense should have dictated that he stayed in Sydney. But Lowy, thanks very much, mate. Your presence turned around what was a fairly shaky start to our training camp. Mate, we all love you. Thank you. Just in conclusion, thanks very much. I'd just like to congratulate both the Queensland and New South Wales Rugby Leagues and the Australian Rugby League. This has been, well, it's just been the best series ever. Thank you and goodbye.
Well, there he is. There's no doubt about that. That is an end of an era. Wally Lewis today has played in 31 games of State of Origin, more than any other player in the history of this series. So I think Lang Park, give him a round of applause. One other member I think we should mention in the Queensland organisation too is a fellow called Dick Turner, who has been the manager of this side for 10 years. And Dick Turner, he's been father, he's been father, confessor, he's been everything to this side. And they've really stuck with their management, and he's stuck with his team players. Right, now, of course, it's man of the match time, and Baiji didn't have a big game. To present this award from Winfield, a cheque for $1,000, I'd like to call on the chairman of the Australian Rugby League, Mr. Ken Arthurson.
Just as well we didn't win, I'd have got a better reception still. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Australian Rugby League, I'd like to thank the crowd for the way they've attended the series this year. I do thank you very sincerely. I'd like to also thank the Winfield Company for their continued support, not only of the game of rugby league, but particularly for the way they've supported the State of Origin series. Ladies and gentlemen, there were a lot of great players out there tonight, and I suppose I wouldn't have liked the task of having to pick the best player, but as far as I'm concerned, there's no doubt that the man that they did select deserved every cent of the $1,000, the Winfield $1,000, and that is the man of the match, Martin Bella. Congratulations.
Well, big fella, you had a very strong first game and a great second game, and tonight, I mean, you just led by example.
I'd like to start with thanks, especially to the guys, the rest of the guys in the side, but especially the guys in the pack. I think if it wasn't for blokes like Mick McLean and Gary Larson, Andy G and the others, you know, it would have made it very tough for me. They did a lot of work that took a bit of the load off my shoulders. So I'd like to thank them, and I'd like to thank all the people, especially over the last few days, that have helped me in any way. To Wally Lewis, who I would count as one of the best players I've ever run across, ever hoped to hear about, and I defy anyone to say any different. And it's an honour to have ever played with that man. And thank you to Graham Lowe. Thanks, everyone.
We would like to talk to Benny Elias, if we could, from New South Wales. I know the players are massed out there, but if Benny Elias could make his way here very, very quickly, we would like to talk to Benny Elias. But John Quayle, of course, has done such a great job with the Winfield Company. When we talk about the series and we talk about State of Origin, John. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Quayle has worked so hard to see this series become what it has become tonight. The best football in the world.
Thank you, Darryl. To everyone, I'd just like to thank again the Australian Rugby League for endorsing what has been a great series. I'd certainly like, on behalf of New South Wales, to congratulate Queensland. It was a magnificent win tonight, and it's been a great series. Congratulations.
Okay, well, that just about wraps up the formalities here tonight. The players, of course, will show the shield for you, the Queensland group. We congratulate New South Wales on just such a sterling three-game series. We'd like to thank Mr. Ross Livermore, the president of the Queensland Rugby League. He has put in a tremendous amount of work here for the two games that have been played. So, ladies and gentlemen, salute your team, because they are the State of Origin champions again. And Kenny Sutcliffe back in the central commentary position with Peter Sterling.
Well, the team, the Maroons, Andrew, leave Lang Park victorious.
Yes, and everybody just about has been mentioned in those speeches, and fair enough as well. But I would like to single out the Queensland selectors. I mean, nobody expected when the first team was picked, that they'd go through with such success. Sean Lawson now talking to Gary Coyne.
And that success, Andrew, was certainly due to a Queensland forward pack.
Yeah, mate, it was a big effort from the forward pack tonight. We all sat in the middle of Lane Park here this morning, talked about their forward pack for about a good 10-15 minutes, and we knew our job was to get out there and just play our hearts out.
Yes, it was an unknown forward pack before the first game, and it was supposed to be a 3-0 wipe watch to the Blues.
Yeah, it was supposed to be, mate. They never give the Queenslanders a shot, but yeah, they're entitled to that. They were the Shield winners last year. But, geez, mate, you can always count on the Queensland, can't you?
I suppose you can also count on being involved in this side for the next few years, Gary?
Certainly hope so, mate. It's a great place. it is a family. People don't realise that. Even though it's a great night tonight, it's a very sad night in a way too, with retirement of Wally from the representative scene, and our long-serving manager and Dick Tosser-Turner.
Okay, thanks so much, Gary.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, I suppose history, Andrew. It's the final chapter tonight for Walter as far as Queensland Rugby League is concerned.
Yes, well, people have said he is state of origin. Well, he's not, because it'll go on without Wally Lewis, and people have always known that. But, gee, he's been there from day one. Only missed 1 or 2 games through injury. First one the year before last, and it will be a different sight without him. But nevertheless, there are plenty in the wings waiting to do his job.
All right, we'll take a commercial break and be back at Lang Park.
Some people will go to any length to be centre court amongst the game's greatest players at the most prestigious tennis event in the world. All you have to do is turn on Channel 9. Wimbledon starts next Monday on Channel 9.
Ansett Australia announced their biggest ever business bonanza. Now win 1,000, yes 1,000 free holidays to the Whitsundays. Travel on a first, business or full economy class fare from May 27 to qualify. There are 1,000 free 7-night holidays to the Whitsundays which must be won. Ansett Australia's biggest ever holiday giveaway starts May 27. 100 free Whitsunday holidays must be won every week for 10 weeks. Ansett Australia, believe you've earned a break.
I can't wait, 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 I can't wait for the great.
Is it the Colonel's secret blend of 11 herbs and spices? Is it the way it's cooked? Or is it that now you can relax and eat in comfort at our place? Or spend seconds in the drive-thru on your way home? Whatever it is, you don't have to wait very long at all.
At IKEA, we call these little tests mobile factor. To make sure a design is good enough to carry the mobile factor label, IKEA gives it a very hard time. Some say too hard a time.
Hello, is that the RSPCF? Oh, this sore throat hurts. Oh no, don't swallow, don't swallow! That hurts. Oh, what's he got now? Oh, Strepsils, anaesthetic throat spray. That's new. Oh, anaesthetics penetrating the nerve endings. The pain's going. Strepsils quick. Doesn't even hurt to swallow. Think we feel like lunch.
New Strepsils anaesthetic throat spray relieves pain fast.
One weekend a month, 2 weeks a year. Do something for yourself. Join the Army Reserve.
For information, call 233 4265.
Well, Andrew Slack, every year we keep saying, well, that's got to be the best State of Origin series. You know, that's the best football. Next year, they keep coming up.
In fact, you say it after every game. We wondered after the second match if that could be bettered. And, of course, it was tonight with a display of attacking rugby league, which I think went over the top of the previous 2 games this year anyway.
Well, it was an action-packed game right from the kick-off, actually right from the first couple of minutes of the game. Let's relive the first 40 minutes of this exciting match. Now Stewart to give it to Clyde. He's 8 short of the 22-metre line. Now Elias. Stewart. They throw it long with Fittler with the grubber kick. Here's O'Connor on the fly with Johns. Johns is there, and Chris Johns is in to score. Bill Harrigan will award the try. The kick from Fittler. The race was from O'Connor and Johns has beaten his Bronco teammate into the corner to score. New South Wales lead by 4 points to 0. No goal. So Queensland in New South Wales territory. Martin Bella. He's about 12 out from the quarterway. On a dry turf here at Lang Park. Jackson goes the short side. He's just outside the quarter. The ball skills from both teams be shown here tonight. Now to McLean. He's wrapped up very heavily in the tackle. David Gillespie was the man in question. Now to Langer. The cutout pass to Lewis. Meninga. Hoffed into a hole. He'll go for the line. He's got Alexander's measure. He's in. Oh, Paul Hoff, that's great stuff. Alexander was left grabbing at oxygen. Paul Hoff's beaten them. And this is a great game of football. 4-all the score, and there's only 8 minutes gone. He's missed it. It's not even close. Michael McLean. 10 short of the halfway. And on the final tackle, the kick will have to be on for a bit of breathing space. Langer will have to hurry. Actually, he's done it pretty well into space. Can he tow through? Stewart kicks it ahead. It's picked up, and you can shut the gate. Mickey Hancock's in. Mickey Hancock's in off a New South Wales blunder. It had been all New South Wales pressure. They make a meal of it centre field. Mick Hancock thinks it's Santa Claus time. He's over. Queensland lead 8-4 against the run of play. No goal.
Courtesy of those two tries, Queensland led 8-4 at the break. Let's see what transpired in the second 40 minutes.
Elias from dummy half, good scout. That was a whippy one, and away goes Salvatore. He's gone over the halfway and he's thrown it inside, picked up by Izzard. A great tackle around the corner to Stewart. It's hold-on job now. Stewart takes the tackle. Final tackle on its way. New South Wales with Alexander. How's the bounce? It's play on. 6 to go. Elias, 10 out from the line. Great charge from the Blues. Now to Alexander, to Izzard, and he gives it to Salvatore, and O'Connor's got space. He's in. That's the equaliser. 8 points all the score. So that's a shocker. Martin Bella, remember, off the field in the sin bin. That's touch, so this will be play on. And it's come in the hands of Fairley. They've got numbers everywhere. Hasler's off for the line. Can Hancock get him? As he slid over, is it a double movement? He's going toward a try. Hasler's made his ground. And he won't. New South Wales lead Queensland 12 points to 8.
Dale Shearer on for Larson. Marty Bella coming back on as well.
All right, Queensland have the ball about 15 out from the line. Now Walters gives it over towards Coyne. Gary Coyne, he's off for the line. He can't get the final pass away. 12 to 8 is the lead for New South Wales. Walters gives it to Langer. Chinking. Can't link up with anybody. 10 metres out from the try line. Walters a dummy half to Lewis. Over to Jackson. He's 3 metres away. Walters now gives it to Peter Jackson again. Over the top to Langer. Now he's got big Paul Hoff. Meninga gets it back. And they're a chance now. They're a chance now. Shearer's on his own. He's in. He's in. They hung off him. And Queensland have finally cracked them. 12-all. Andrew Slackler in for another spine tingler.
Take a bow, Queensland, and take a bow, Graham Lowe, bringing Dale Shearer on, and I guess anybody out there would have scored it, but it was his first touch of the ball. He had the option of drawing the man and passing to the wing, and he took the right option.
And it's over! He's kicked it! And that was the winning goal. Let's have a look at the full-time stats. The penalties went 4 apiece. The scrums went Queensland's way. They had three of the better of New South Wales there. 3 tries apiece. The difference, the converted try of Dale Shearer's by Mel Meninga, and no one kicked the field goal. Queensland winning the match by 14 points to 12. All right, we'll take a quick break and come back and wrap it up from Lang Park.
Give it a grab. If my life were important.
Jason Donovan.
Stupendous, Will.
He's making millions.
You're saying you're too good to be true.
Jennifer Byrne looks at the image.
Embarrassed about that one.
The rumours.
The homosexual rumours. Me taking drugs.
And his latest challenge.
Gives me the dog.
And the medical mystery that strikes without warning.
And I hope there's a cure soon.
Toyota presents 60 Minutes, Sunday on 9.
1991 is Visit Indonesia year. You can stroll along the beach where Mick Jagger played his guitar by moonlight. Be welcomed at the hotel where President Reagan stayed. Be enchanted by the lake where Ringo Starr went sightseeing. Stand on the mountaintop where Elle Macpherson watched the sunrise. And this is the airline you fly to get there. Come to Bali and beyond with Garuda Indonesia. And from June 14, we'll be flying from Brisbane every Monday and Friday. Ask your travel agent for the Garuda Indonesia brochure.
When you're smiling, the whole world smiles.
If they knew then what we know now, they'd still be smiling. That brushing with AIM toothpaste and an AIM Explorer toothbrush is a proven way to fight plaque, the major cause of tooth decay. AIM toothpaste and AIM Explorer toothbrushes, because your teeth should last a lifetime.
We're here to help. We're here to help you with a smile, the fresh good way.
Hi, I'm Sue, and how are you? So I'm special. It's quite a big load, isn't it? Thank goodness for your car park. I think you might need home delivery, Mrs. Morton.
We're the Woolworths fresh food people with so much more.
Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye.
Hey, what's this chill filtered?
Well, that's what makes light beer taste so good. It's chill filtered to lock in the flavour.
And does it?
Well, you tell me.
Times are tough, time for top deals. Times are tough, it's the Tough Times sale.
Tough times are great times to take advantage of a double discount on brand new Corollas.
It's the Tough Times sale.
Huge savings for the end of the financial year. Huge savings on a massive Corolla run-out to make way for the new model. A double discount this month only.
Oh, what a feeling. Toyota.
And with the stands and the outer fast emptying, the jubilation of Queensland's 14-12 win now confined to the Queensland dressing shed as they pose for photographers. And I don't think the photographers will be saying "Smile, boys," tonight. Down on the sideline is Sean Lawson with Gene Miles.
Thanks very much, Andrew. And I think there could be a few more smiles in a few weeks, Gino, with the Australian team selected. Surely Queensland have got to dominate that team.
Yeah, well, that has been the criteria in days gone by, but with the test not being played for 2 or 3 weeks, there are a lot of players that have got 2 or 3 weeks of club footy to lift their form, and just remind them Australian selectors that they still can't play the game.
Okay, thanks very much for being with us for the first and the third series. Back to you, Andrew.
Okay, Sean. Well, that's about it from us. We've got another series through, Tomo. We've got 3 out of 3 for Queensland.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable games. 2 points the difference. Cliffhangers all the way through. And I guess State of Origin football returned to its normal status tonight.
Yes, it was all skill, and there wasn't much mucking up. I think the only penalty for foul play was Ricky Stewart threw in a little rabbit punch, which was a penalty to Queensland, not a bright thing to do. Martin Bella was off for 10 minutes, but I think saying something for the ref. But Rugby League was out there, performed at its very, very best tonight.
It certainly did. Well, that wraps it up. The State of Origin series for 1991. Queensland winning the deciding game, 14 points to 12. Andrew, thanks for your help.
Thanks, mate. Love to call a Queensland win.
Got to say goodbye to Sean Lawson and G Miles and thank them for their support. Also Sky Channel and Win TV who joined us for the telecast tonight. To all our cameramen, sound technicians and to our producers and directors who bring you this exciting epic every year. On behalf of them, this is Alan Thomas saying a very good night from Lane Park.
Give it a
The 1991 Winfield State of Origin Telecast. Proudly sponsored by 4X. We love it up here. And Metway Bank, the bank that keeps banking your way.